The next 56 minutes are all about feeling your feelings starting now. Most people, because we've been trained this way, either push down our feelings, we suppress them, or we just do everything we can to run away from them. Oh, here's another person. Everything we can to run away from them. Or the third thing, which at least for me, I was trained was the very best thing I could do about my feelings. We talk about them, we express them. The experiment is not about any of those three things. It's simply about feeling them and feeling them all the way. And you will know you have felt a feeling all the way when a new feeling pops up. So you don't have to think, have I felt that all the way? No, you'll just know you have because a new feeling will show up. In my experience, the experiment is weird in the very best ways. And these are just a couple of the reasons I would say it's weird. You cannot do it wrong. You can't do anything during this call wrong. And anytime you're running the experiment, it's not about right or wrong. You cannot do it wrong. It's impossible. I already said I think it's weird because it's not about talking about your feelings or your emotions. It's also not about naming them. It's not your job to say, that's sadness, that is happiness, that is frustration, that is anger. It's simply to feel it. And one of the reasons I say that is when you think about the guilt you feel for, well, I was just telling Sean this. I stole a bait from a bait shop when I was about 6 years old, and I still feel guilty about it. The word for guilt for that is not the same as the same word, guilt. The feeling I feel the one time that I lost my shit on my kid and I picked him up and I threw him in his bed, and thank God he thought I was playing. But I still feel guilty about the fact that I lost my shit and I picked up my kid and threw him in his bed. So, same word, totally different feeling. So, it's not about naming it, it's simply about feeling it. It's not about going out and finding your feelings. The perfect ones show up for you in the perfect order on your behalf. I don't know why. They just do. It's not about knowing what they are or why they're here or if they make any sense or the shape or the color or the smell. It is simply about feeling them. And the biggest thing is it is not about making them go away. You don't run the experiment to make your feelings go away. You run the experiment to feel your feelings fully. And what I believe happens is when you feel your feelings fully, they stop being separate from you. They rejoin you. They integrate back into you. So kind of like if you were to dislocate your shoulder, you'd be very aware. I've never dislocated my shoulder, but I hear you become very aware that you have a shoulder. Then when it goes back in, it might be sore for a couple of days, but most of the time you don't walk around thinking, I have a shoulder. Oh, there's a shoulder there and a shoulder there. Just like with your feelings, when you feel them fully, they come back into you. They stop being a thing pulling your attention. They become part of you. Here's the last thing I'm going to say, or one of the next things I'm going to say about what I think is so weird about the experiment. It is not just for big things or scary things or yucky things. It's for positive things. It's for tiny things. It's for petty things. It's for all of the feelings. It's also not just for things you might call emotions. And I Googled this. An emotion is the actual physical experience that you have. The word feeling really means the words we talk about it. So when I say feel your feelings, I'm saying feel that thing, the feeling that comes around the words we use for feelings. It's also for physical feelings, that ache in your neck, that goosebumps you get, the sense of the energy you're feeling around you. It's for feeling all of those things you can feel. Here's another thing I think is weird. The experiment is not about discipline. It's not about saying, "Oh, it is now the time that I will feel the feeling about my puppy dying when I was 10." No, you don't have to go find a thing and feel it. And oh, I've gone off of that feeling. No, it's simply about feeling what is next, including now while I'm talking about this. Here's the other thing that I think is weird. Um, it is not about, well, at least for me, often feelings come with thoughts. It's not about ignoring those thoughts. As a matter of fact, I think the thoughts are wildly valuable. The thoughts are like a tray that shows up, like if you're at a party and they're passing appetizers. The thought is the tray that brings you the like bacon wrapped scallop. that is probably overcooked because I don't know why they cook those because it's too easy to do. But man, they're yummy when you get a good one, right? So the thoughts are the tray. You don't have to ignore them, use them. Your thoughts will show up. It's feeling the things around those thoughts. Um, and then here's the last thing I'll say about the weirdness. The way we do this hour is weird. In my ideal scenario, I will make an invitation to you to go off and feel your feelings, and it will be so groovy or interesting or feel so good or feel so productive or whatever word you want to put on it that you don't want to come back here and mess around with whatever I have to say next. That would be my dream. So please set your timer for 10 minutes to the next hour, because at that point, I would like you to come back because I want to get you back and ready to go to the rest of your day. And not, I mean, unless you want to just sit and feel your feelings all day, if you would like to blow off the rest of your day for that, that would also make my day. So, but please set your timer for 10 minutes until the next hour. Okay. With that, I'm going to make an invitation to you to feel your feelings on a specific prompt. And your work is to simply follow that prompt. And if that doesn't work, like let's say I prompt you to do something and you think to yourself, well, this is not working. Awesome. Feel the feeling of this not working. Or if you think that was really weird what Sarah sent us off to do. Awesome. Feel the feeling of Sarah being a weirdo. That makes sense, right? I'm going to give you an invitation to feel your feelings, but the only real invitation is feel whatever is there. Feel whatever is there. And after I make that invitation, I'll tell you, I'm going to set a timer. We'll do that for a minute or 2 or 3 or 5 or something like that. But my real request to you is you turn the volume down on me, because if it's so groovy, I don't want to interrupt what you're up to. Whenever you feel ready to turn the volume back up, come back to the group, and wherever we are is wherever you'll be. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. Okay, let's do this. First invitation. Let's see what we've got. Oh, let's play this game, the follow your thoughts game. So I like to have games in this. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to simply sit there, and whatever thought shows up in your head, feel the feeling of that thought. That might last for 1 second and then a new thought shows up, or it might last the whole time. You're simply feeling the feeling of whatever thoughts show up. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes to play around and just follow your thoughts and feel the feeling of your thoughts. So again, my invitation starting in about 2 seconds is to turn the volume down on me and just feel the feeling of whatever thoughts show up. So go ahead now, turn the volume down. that was 2 minutes. For those of you who are back, check in with yourself. If you feel like sharing your experience or feel like asking a question, please do. I'd love to hear it. If you don't feel like you want to do that, don't. If you think you should share something, don't do it. Like, for example, to make this go better or make me feel awesome. If you think you should, no need. But if you feel like you'd like to, I would love to hear it. A question or an experience. Thank you. Anyone else have something they'd like to share? Mm, okay, we're going to try another experiment. Thank you for that, Sean. Um, that pinball experience may have continued for the rest of you as you heard Sean share and the two of us interact. As you are listening to other people talk, at least if you're like me, you'll have thoughts like, "Oh, Sarah should have done this," or "What about that?" or "Why is Sean? What does mid manager mean?" or "Da da 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 da." Right? This is happening while we listen to others, or as we watch people interact, or as we listen to a song, or as we watch a movie. This is happening. The experiment is about letting the experiment run with your thoughts and your feelings throughout your day. Also, I don't do it 24/7. At least I'm not aware of it. So, but that's what the experiment is, feeling the feelings as these things show up. Um, let's try this experiment. We'll do 3 minutes of this one. The next experiment, start with one of your hands and feeling the space between the skin. So not like the outside of your hand, but the space between the skin, the inside of your hand. Once you connect to that, which might take 30 years, or you might get there in 30 seconds, whatnot, then start feeling the inside of your body coming out of your hand. We'll do that for 3 minutes. So just starting with your hand. The first time I did this, I couldn't do it. So it's okay if you can't. While you're doing that, of course, you're going to have thoughts and feelings. You're feeling the feelings that come around the thoughts with just the first invitation is feel the inside of your hand. So please go ahead and turn the volume down. We'll do 3 minutes, starting with feeling the inside of your hand. That was 3 minutes. If you feel like you have a question or something you'd like to share, please do. And as someone does or doesn't, feel the feeling of the conversation or the lack of one. Mm, wow. All right, here's my next invitation. Think of a question you have in life or a decision or something you're confused about, right? Something you're thinking about, you're trying to figure out a decision, a question, a confusion. And the invitation is to feel that question or invitation or confusion or decision. And of course, there's going to be thoughts. Feel the feeling around those thoughts. That's the invitation. Sit with and feel. And we're going to do 3 minutes on this question or confusion or decision that you're trying to make or thing that you're trying to figure out. I'll give you 3 minutes. Go ahead and turn down the volume. Come back whenever you're ready. That was time. Who has an experience they want to share or a question about that experiment? Okay, let's do another one. Uh, okay. Let's do this one. We're going to do 4 minutes on this one. If you think about the space around you, or let's say, so my family just went camping. um, and when they came home, they hadn't showered. They'd been gone for 5 days. There's like the BO zone around a human, right? I went in to hug them. Hello. Woo, you walk into the BO zone. So I want you to feel the BO zone around you, right? That's space, couple feet. And if you want, start an inch away, 2, 3, 4, just inch out. Feel the feeling of your body odor zone getting out away from your body. The only invitation always is to feel whatever feeling is there. And that's the invitation, is to start there. We'll do 4 minutes on your BO zone. That was time. When you do the experiment, you may have insights that pop up or ideas or a brainstorm. They are worth listening to. They're worth paying attention to. They're worth feeling. You might want to write them down. I have a friend who recently said to me, when I have those things happen, I say, hey body, remind me. If this is simply a brainstorm, it may pass through. But my friend said, hey body, remind me if this is something I should act on. So you can address it any way you want. And I just am wanting to point out, when you're doing the experiment, you may have insights, ideas, or just remember, oh shit, I forgot to do this, or I forgot to do that. Great, write it down, capture it, or don't. You'll learn as you experiment with the experiment. Who has an experience they feel like sharing, or a question from that? Um, oh, couple of things that I want to drop into this pool is, yeah, that the invitation to feel your BO zone. Your brain was like, that's perfect. Any invitation that shows up, and I know I've said this, I mean, I'm saying it again, whatever shows up for you is the perfect thing to feel. So, right, BO zone, if you're like, no, wherever your brain goes, feel that, follow that. I think of the experiment as this, sticking with the bathroom metaphor here. If people are at a concert and they're lined up to go to the bathroom, or a baseball game or whatever, they're lined up to, a crowd is, and there's people in line to go to the bathroom. Um, and you're the bathroom. The perfect next one is lined up for you. And it's only your job to allow them to relieve themselves. And it's just the next one, the next one, the next one. You don't get to say, like, oh, number 10, you get to come in now. Because you imagine, if you do that, all the front 9 are going to be like, hell no, no, I'm the first one. Let me in. So, and it's your job, which isn't even the right word in the experiment, or it's just how the experiment works, is to let that first one relieve itself. If you don't, it's going to either relieve itself on you by bothering you, torturing you, stressing you out, or it's going to go relieve itself on someone else, your colleague, your dog, your friend, your health, your house, whatever. That's all the experiment is let that next one show up. So if I say, feel your BO zone, and something else shows up, awesome, feel that. Yeah, and then asking people, where's your head? How do you feel? Where's your head? How do you feel? Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. Um, there may be things in life that you think to yourself, oh, I'd love to run the experiment on that. For example, a question, a decision, a thing you're confused about, scared about, a move to make in life. And you think, well, I'm going to try to run an experiment on it. And then you go in and your brain goes to 700 other places. A way to manage that is, let's say there's a big thing and you really want to address this big thing, but your brain wants to send you off in down 700 other alleys. A great method is to move yourself away from that thing until you get to the point where you actually can feel it. So using the BO zone, I don't know if this would have worked for you, but you might say, well, I can't do 3 feet out. I'm going to come into 1 inch using the BO zone. But it also might be issue, question, problem, worry, or even maybe something so incredibly beautiful in your life that you can't quite take it in. Back away to the point where you can take it in. Back away to the point where you can. So let's do that. We have perfect amount of time here. So think of a really big thing in your life. And I'm not saying go straight to the heart of it. Back away from that thing to the point that you can feel something about it, and then feel whatever that is. And you'll know if you're too close, if your brain starts taking you in 700 places. So back away to the point that you can feel the feelings about it. We'll do that for 4 minutes. Go for it. It was time. Who has an experience or an insight or a question they want to share? Wow. Thank you for that. Ooh. Um, every time I do this call, I learn a new way to teach the experiment. And that feeling what you should do is juicy shit. So thank you for that. And that insight will serve others in the future, I believe. And thank you for that backing away example with your parents. Whew. Or with your dad specifically. Holy cow. Your inheritance you've received from him and others. Wow. Does anybody else have a question or an experience or an insight they want to share? Probably your alarms have gone off. Let's conclude this. There's a couple things I would like to share as we finish up. Um, with the experiment, there is no practice. There is no discipline. There is simply experimenting. And doing it as often as you get a nudge. The experiment will nudge you, if you will. Things will show up, a big feeling, or a big pain in the back, literally, a big question. This is a lab where we run the experiment in artificial situation, right? I'm saying, think about this, ponder this, try this on. Life is the experiment, and life is a constant invitation to run the experiment. Right now, some people just walk by this window with the cutest little baby. There's an invitation for me. Feel the cuteness of that baby. You may or may not be able to feel your feelings to run the experiment on every single thing. So here's my invitation. Run the experiment when you run the experiment and notice how many invitations you get. If running the experiment over and over and over feels like too much or overwhelming, simply notice, oh, there's an invitation. There's an invitation. There's an invitation. And this is for big things and little things, for petty things, for important things, for happy things, for sad things. It's for all, and for physical feeling things, for energetic feeling things. This isn't a discipline. You don't have to go in and stay on the aging parents issue. It's follow or let the next feeling that shows up relieve itself, and the next and the next and the next. Um, this isn't a wrestling match with your thoughts. It's a dance with them. Let them serve up things for you. Um, okay, I'm going through my list of reminders. I've said them all naturally. That makes me feel amazing. I'll feel that in a minute. Oh my gosh, this is so important. Uh, the experiment is likely to change you, but you won't notice. This is very likely. You might show up differently with a colleague or a family member or a friend, or you might be in traffic and all of a sudden the way people zipper merge doesn't bother you anymore. That's the evidence that the experiment is working. And my strong invitation to you is to keep track of that evidence. Write it down, put it in the notes in your phone. I have a Marco Polo group where people share their evidence. And if you want to be a part of that, let me know. I'll add you into that. But collect that evidence. I think our egos get kind of uncomfortable around this and they want to tell us, don't do that. That's silly. Or that's whatever. What is that? That's silliness. Stop that, or whatever version or flavor your ego might have. So collect that evidence. It'll be helpful for you to keep benefiting isn't the right word, to just keep running the experiment. Also, please invite other people if you think they would value this. I'm doing a virtual 3-hour version of this on September 9th from 9 until noon Central Time. I'm looking at, I have an in-person 3-hour one, well, coming up on Wednesday, which I'm pumped about, but also another one in November, and I'm looking at doing a weekend version. I'm also offering one-on-one if that's of interest to you. So let me know if it is. But the experiment runs free. It runs free in your life all the time. Notice those invitations and take them when you can. that is the experiment call for the week. Thank you for being here. Gosh, I would do this by myself if you weren't here, and getting to do it with the three of you today was a super special gift. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Mm.